Hello there, Dr. Neptune here. And here's Nmixx. There's 7 members here. This was from last summer's photo book, Nmixxpedia Pic LA, shot in Los Angeles. This group debuted in February of last year, 2022, with these 7 members. Ginny here left in December, and so now Nmixx is the remaining 6. Ohaewon, Beijing Seoul, Seolyun, Kyujin, Jiu, and Lily. This is a group that I didn't like at first, and that's kind of unusual. I like almost everything, but I didn't like the songs of this group when they first debuted, and I wasn't alone. And so part of the story of Nmixx is the story of how they changed and where they came from, where they are now in such a short time. So there were big expectations for this group, mainly because they were the first new girl group from this company here, JYP, leader in entertainment, it says there. That's one of the so-called big 3 entertainment companies in Korea, known for its stable of really, really popular artists, including ITZY, who debuted in 2019, and this is their latest release, Cheshire. ITZY's phenomenally popular, was right from the very start, and was previous to Nmixx the last girl group that JYP had worked with or had released. I'm looking for the JYP logo here. I guess that's it. And then prior to that, JYP's big girl group was Twice. And here's their latest release, Ready to Be. There's that JYP signature. Twice, by almost any measure, one of the most popular girl groups in the world. Cranks out big hit after big hit, and successfully, I think, navigated the transition from bubblegum pop and a cutesy girly image to more what you see here, kind of a chic, sophisticated image, both in their look and in their sound, which is more R&B flavored now than in the early days. So, coming from JYP, which are the initials of Jin Young Park, the producer and CEO of the company, kind of a Puff Daddy type figure in Korea, performer, producer, etc. Nmixx's first release was looked at with a lot of anticipation by fans. And it was disappointing, well, mainly because the songs weren't very good. And at best, underwhelming, but they really attracted a lot of negative attention, perhaps unfair, because of their, being with the big company and all. But in any event, their first release was this. The single was called 0.0, and then the B-side is Tank. It's sort of in reverse order on the CD, and then there's 2 instrumental versions. So there's really only 2 songs on here with lyrics. 0.0 is the, like I say, the lead single. And Nmixx kind of started with the idea of having a signature sound, which they called mix pop. And a lot of songs, K-pop and others, have different sections that change parts of the song. There's usually a verse, chorus, bridge type of structure. But with Nmixx, they kind of took it to an extreme with this first single. 0.0 has an extremely jarring transition between what sounds like 2 completely different songs. It starts off one way, changes into a completely different song, and then changes back into the original. The problem is neither song is all that great. Especially the one that begins the track and the one that essentially introduced this group to the world. So these are just some of the extras that came with the initial release. was called a blind or black box release of Admare, which is Latin for to the sea. And you bought it without knowing what the contents of the inner workings would be. And there's some extras here. But it was kind of disappointing to find out that when the standard version came out, it was a photo book that's exactly the same as the photo book in the first thing. Felt slightly cheated by that, and I'm sure probably a lot of other fans felt that way too, and that may have colored part of the initial kind of negative reaction to this group. What was wrong with that song, 0.0? It starts off as a very heavy kind of EDM techno dance song with an unrelenting beat. It's very strong, very powerful, which in itself, there's nothing wrong with any of that, but the way that it came across was sort of like too much of not enough substance. And then when the song switched in the middle to an entirely different song, that middle song is better, but still not as good and as it should be, I guess. And then the switch back to the original song. The B-side Tank is marginally better. At least it stays the same sort of song all the way through, but it's not that great either. So when they came out, they had that sort of reaction from fans and critics alike. And then they released Entwurf. And Entwurf is a German word meaning a draft or a work in progress. It was released in September of 2022. Again, with 2 songs on it. Title track is Dice, and the B-side being Cool. And again, 2 instrumentals there. This one did come in 2 different photo books for the 2 versions, so I didn't feel cheated when I got them. Just flipping through quickly, you can see some of the visuals here. Now, this follow-up kind of had the same characteristics as their original single. Dice is again a very high-speed EDM and flavored song. You can see this weird aquatic world here. They have a kind of theme in their imagery of water or marine imagery, sometimes surreal like this. But Dice had a similar sort of switch up. And it was just as abrupt and just as jarring when the song switched from the opening section to the middle section, which they announced by saying big wave, and dance as if they were being turned inside out to switch from the tempo of one song to the next. And then it switched back to the original song. And then Cool is a slow, I would say medium tempo ballad, which showcases their vocal skills. And I think one of the another problem with their first couple of releases was that their vocal skills weren't put to the forefront. Instead, it was almost like these tricks where they could show how radically they could switch up the song and perform to it. Their performances were always great, intense dancing and high level stuff, but still to songs that weren't all that great. So that's how I thought of Nmixx. So all throughout last year, I was kind of disappointed. I, as well as others, expected more of them. I do want to show here, I have 2 out of the then 7 members' individual CDs of this release. So there's the leader, Ohewan, and there is Sulyun. And anyway, they weren't one of my favorites, but still I was following them to see what came next. And what did come next was a complete shock and a surprise to me when they released a Christmas single called Funky Glitter Christmas. And just the name of that song alone made me like them a little bit more. And so when I checked it out, it was in keeping kind of with the Nmixx and pop approach of mashing up different songs together, but for a Christmas song that happens all the time. So there's elements of Joy to the World mixed with this fun pop song and different sections to evoke the holiday spirit. And they perform it with great enthusiasm, and I was just floored because up to this point, I really just knew them from their 2 singles so far, and neither one of them impressed me much, and both of them struck me as sort of lacking in charisma and personality. So when I saw them do Funky Glitter Christmas and heard them do that, it made me think of them in a whole different way. Just after that, original member Ginny left the group, citing unspecified personal reasons. And just recently, it was announced that she signed as a solo artist to another entertainment agency. So for whatever reason, it didn't work out with Ginny and Nmixx, and looking for the best from her soon. Okay. That brings us to Nmixx's latest release from last month. So March of 2023, and their debut as a 6-member group with this EP called Expergo, Latin again, basically for, I think it's something like going forth, spreading the word, something along those lines. And they, just as in the Funky Glitter Christmas, their sound changed pretty much completely from what we'd heard before from them. And they pre-released a single which seemed almost a rebuke to those who didn't like their stuff. And the song is the first one on the EP, and it's called Young, Dumb, Stupid. And part of it features a nursery rhyme. The Frere Jacques is one version of it, sung in round fashion. So a child's nursery rhyme acting as part of the chorus of a song called Young, Dumb, Stupid, performed with maximum sass, is just a complete turnaround and a big dose of humor and lightness to what I had thought of as kind of a dark group before that. And then this is a 6-song EP, as you can see here. So instead of just the 2 singles per release, we've got 6. The main single from this release is Love Me Like This. And this is an excellent, I guess, R&B influenced pop song. Stays pretty much the same all the way through. In fact, I would say that of all these songs, none of them really has that head-snapping transition that Nmixx had seemed like it was going to be their trademark song forever, but their sound rather. But they made the decision, maybe based on their reception by the public and by critics, to go in another direction. I checked the credits, and most of the same team is on this release that was on those from last year, so it's not like they fired everybody and found new people, but there is definitely a change of course here, a change in direction, and it was great to see. So this is a really fun release. I listen to all 6 songs all the time. Came in these 2 versions. Each version came sealed. I think I have the original packaging was a sealed envelope, right, that you had to tear off in order to get into. And so you essentially ruined the packaging by opening it up, but that's all right. I like to look through these things, obviously. Something else that was in here that I really loved was, for kind of no reason at all that I could figure, they had a Connect the Dots page here. Okay, here's the image that is replicated here. And yeah, that's me. That's my connecting of these dots. I haven't done Connect the Dots probably since I was a child. Well, definitely since I was a child. Well, it's fairly complicated. There's different little sections there. There's a star to indicate where you start and where you stop. And it takes you to a reasonable simulacrum of the original image. I think this one was a little more difficult. It's kind of a mess. But it provided a fun, afternoon of wasting time and doing these things. And let's see. So with that, the story of Nmixx is caught up to date, with maybe one exception. I have here from their Instagram. Whoops, it changed pages on me. Okay, I got it back. This is their Instagram from last month. They were at a Paris Fashion Week event, looking very lovely and stylish. And there's the pairs of them together. And also, there's this. This is their light stick, their fan light, what fans buy to take to concerts. I have a small collection of these, and this is the 5th one. I got this mainly because I really like the simple, kind of elegant, clear design to it. It's also got this whale or dolphin figure. And if you, whoops, the light is flashing now. And there's the fade out effect. But the whale there, in keeping with their nautical imagery, and if I do this right, it'll spin around. I guess it's hard to see on camera. Anyway, I got that. Both because of the cool design and because of my real turnaround in my estimation of this group. I should say also one more thing, that the group has not just one but 2 powerhouse vocalists, diva style. This is one of them, this Lily. She's from Australia, of mixed Australian and Korean heritage, and does the high notes and wails, Mariah Carey style. And here is O'Haywin, the leader, who also handles the heavy vocal lifting, as it were. It's unusual for a group to have one kind of universally celebrated diva vocalist, but here there's 2. Both of them have appeared on other music shows on YouTube to show off their talents and their skills. They're already considered as young as they are as a group and as individuals, but among the forefront of great diva K-pop singers like Wendy from Red Velvet, or even Tan or somebody like that. And then the other group members are also very skilled vocalists. In fact, as I said earlier, I think one of the mistakes in the early days was not to stress their vocals in their singles. But even a song like Young, Dumb, Stupid has some show-off moments for all the members, individually and in harmony. So, to conclude, Nmixx has now become one of my favorite groups, not just new groups, but favorite groups, and I really love everything they do. They put out a constant stream of high-quality videos. In addition to their vocal and dance talents, they're comic troupe that's great at improv and all manner of mischief on behind-the-scenes videos. Okay, so hope you enjoyed that. I'll link to some of their videos and performances in the description, and I will be back another time.